For the KLBP Local Long Beach Diary, this is Alan Holden. So I noticed this event on Facebook, 50th Anniversary Celebration of Disneyland's New Tomorrowland, at the Filmmakers Gallery, right here in Long Beach on East Broadway. Back in 1967, Disneyland reopened the second iteration of Tomorrowland. This was the one that introduced the People Mover and Voyage Through Inner Space. Being a big fan of vintage Disney, I had to attend, of course. The larger question for me was, what the heck is the Filmmakers Gallery and what else happens there? Join me as I find out.
You are?
My name is Steven Roche, and I'm the Director of Development at the Filmmakers Gallery. I have about 30 years experience in all facets of the entertainment industry, worked in post-production, worked on the original X-Files TV series, very involved in screenwriting, and I've been a literary manager and a literary agent.
My name is Paul Belsito, and I am the Executive Director here at the Filmmakers Gallery. My background is first an artist, getting a fine arts degree, furthering my art career at Disneyland as a pastel portrait artist in the park. After that, getting into music. I would say about 30 years experience with music over the years, having not one but two band projects. Followed my dream again with the art field by opening up a first gallery, and now this is our second gallery as partners here.
I also have 10 years experience in the nonprofit arena, both on the administration staff side and also on the board of directors side for multiple theater companies. My background's also theater, so when Paul and I met, it was like this strange Brady Bunch of talents. I know virtually nothing about music other than musical theater, and Paul didn't really have any experience in film and TV production, and one of our first projects was the documentary Teach Your Children Well with Lily Tomlin narrating. So I kind of pulled Paul into my passion for documentary filmmaking, and Paul's passion was turning the Filmmakers Gallery when he moved here and flipping it into multimedia kind of our concept, to make it unique.
Kind of unique kind of gallery that gives a different spin.
We will probably talk more than once about how I'm a Disney fanboy. To hear that you were at Disneyland.
We both were, actually. So.
Oh, okay. We're here. It's a retrospective of Disneyland's Tomorrowland of 1967, having been 50 years ago. It includes soundtracks and visuals from the park. What kicked me was the theme song, the Sherman Brothers theme song. From when you get off Voyage into Inner Space, Miracles from Molecules.
That's right.
Miracles from molecules are dawning every day.
Welcome to Monsanto's Plastics Home of the Future.
You know, I got the wild idea when I'm like, we need to have a YouTube page for the Filmmakers Gallery. And as soon as I established that, I started getting in there and going, you know what? I can do a lot of fun things with the fair use of other videos. When you curate something and you make a timeline, I try to present it like you're going to the movies.
Well, sure, I could spend hours and hours on YouTube trying to track this stuff down myself, but you know,
or you can come to the Filmmakers Gallery.
Or we came here
and, nice
I could instantly receive the corporate presentation of how the People Mover is going to work.
The People Mover cars will be moving at the same speed you are traveling aboard the rotating platform. So all you must do is step aboard the nearest car.
Yeah.
You can't just dig up that stuff. A Disney fanboy. I was drawn to that. I came to this, and then I'm saying, what a cool little space this is, for one. And then for two, I'm saying, what is this place?
And we're asked that all the time, and people think we're some exclusive club. And Filmmakers Gallery is for fans and film lovers and filmmakers. So people think, oh, I can't go in unless I'm a filmmaker, and we never want people to think that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a Club 33 without needing the membership. Kind of like a secret. Like,
and we're open to the public.
And still people don't really know what goes on in Club 33.
Oh, debauchery, I'm sure.
So it's kind of a mystery. It can be whatever you want it to be. I mean, because the sky's the limit with what we can do here. I mean, we've had book signings, we've had public speakers,
classes, seminars,
instructional stuff, stand-up comedy.
Well, your own words. The Filmmakers Gallery is a new concept that merges a gallery setting with the intrigue and red carpet presentation of entertainers and high-profile individuals who are connected with the entertainment industry. When I was, first coming in here, it's like, I hope they don't find out that I shouldn't be here. But it turns out, folks are welcome to come to your different events.
Absolutely.
And I did see something in here about a membership.
We offer a membership. We have since we've opened. The people can pay monthly, can pay yearly, and it covers the whole year. So if you do have a membership, any event that you attend, it's
There's
a
a
special
discount.
price.
But anybody who's looking at your Facebook page and sees something they might want to go to, they can come and just pay at the door.
Exactly.
They don't have to be a
Absolutely, yeah.
member.
No.
Let's talk about some of the events that you've had here before. A list of various folks that have attended the events here. Erica Irvin, who was from American Horror Story.
Yes.
She's the world's tallest model. That's
Guinness Book of World Records, 6'8".
She's beautiful.
What you do as an Amazon is you travel around the world and you pick up guys for a living.
Lydia Cornell from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yep.
And Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah.
Jamie Brewer from American Horror Story. She's the first ever Down syndrome actress to walk the New
York
York Fashion Week catwalk.
I've always dreamed of working with performers like Jessica and with Dylan and with Connie, and working with them is amazing.
Do you guys have any kind of formula in that we're going to have an event that is an abstract tribute to a place or thing or theme, or we are going to screen one movie, we're going to discuss it, and the focus is on a single feature?
Paul is really brilliant at coming up with ideas, and I'll come up with some.
Do you guys plan that you're going to have so many retrospectives or so many...
No. If you try to plan something out, it never works out.
It's the entertainment industry.
And a lot of the times, it'll just naturally come to me. Or honoring people. For example, the event that we had not too long ago, I wanted to honor a person, Gilbert Baker, the man who created the rainbow flag. I personally didn't know the story behind the flag. I didn't want to
either.
only just educate myself, but I wanted to share that education with other people so that they could leave going, wow, you know, now next time I see that flag in any city all around the world.
It's a crosswalk down the street for
Yeah,
that.
it's a crosswalk. People need to know what every color actually means. And Gilbert actually have footage of him. The initial idea for the flag was actually so many different colors, and then he whittled it down. He actually hand-dyed them when he made the very first one.
Right.
And he took them to a laundromat. I loved hearing these stories.
On a symbolic level, what I liked and what I think is still resonant is that it's all the colors. It's the idea of inclusion.
But on the other end of the spectrum, Alan, we also do an Academy Awards viewing party that...
That's right.
This year we sold out 2 months in advance.
Yes.
Last year a month in advance. So people sort of know when certain things are coming, and they know Filmmakers Gallery is where I want to be and hang out. Pretty much all
Golden
the award
Globes.
shows, Golden Globes, and SAG Awards, we usually have SAG friends and guests that pop in. And
We're going to have our first makeup artist, Hollywood makeup artist, featured here.
David Williams.
Who's worked on a lot of different, mostly television, but also film.
We did the movie Cake, and we had Patrick Tobin, the screenwriter, so I said, we're going to screen the movie, then I want you to talk about your creative process. Sometimes a guest that comes to an event becomes a potential other event. Let me explain that so it makes sense. So for guests who's coming to dinner, we had met Elvis Nolasco, who was one of the stars of the first season of American Crime. So we go walking into the party, and Elvis walks up to Paul and goes, "Oh, I love your mustache." So mustache is the best calling card in town. So anybody out there who wants to break into show
He goes,
business,
"You look important."
Decorate your face.
somehow guess who's coming to dinner, and Stanley Kramer came up, and they said, "Hey, why don't you come down tomorrow night? Because Karen Kramer is going to be there talking about how they made." He goes, "Where? What time? What time?"
He had said, "John Ridley told me that I needed to study
watch
that movie for my role on American Crime."
Yes. So we came down the next night, then we talked about doing an American Crime evening. Another one of our most famous, favorite events.
Comic book guy. Best event ever.
Director Randall Kleiser, who is most famous for directing the movie musical Grease. So we asked him if he would come to the gallery and we would do a promo for his play. And he came down on a rainy December 3rd, and he starts the program. It's like, well, when I was a boy, we all were going, like Scooby-Doo. It became an evening of the nature of creativity and his creativity. And then he talked about how he got to direct Grease, which is fabulous, is he directed John Travolta in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, a famous TV movie. So when John Travolta was cast in Grease, they didn't have a director, and he said, well, I'll do the movie, but only if Randall Kleiser directs it. And that's how Randall got his first gig as a director, was totally because of John Travolta.
Wow. There's not a lot of things that are because of John Travolta.
Exactly. Charmaine Carr, who was in The Sound of Music. Charmy was our first celebrity guest, our first book signing. Charmy was Liesl in The Sound of Music, but also she was an internationally well-known interior designer. So we became friends. So we said, hey, would you like to do a book signing? Because she had her book Forever Liesl that was a New York Times bestseller. And she said, sure. So we kind of realized the potential and power of the Filmmakers Gallery after having the one. And we made the second page, Long Beach Press Telegram. It was, I love that headline. It was Sound of Music Actress to appear at Filmmakers Gallery.
Cut to us getting married.
Not only was she in our wedding, but she said, "Oh, would you like me to sing?" And we're like, "Sure." And she said, "Would you like me to sing?" And we're like, "Edelweiss."
Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
She said, "Come on, Paul." And
but we swapped singing roles because, of course, she's singing
sang
lead
lead.
and I'm doing the
Right.
accent part.
Well, and then the other thrill was that we got to watch Sound of Music live with Carrie Underwood. She invited us to her
house
home, and that was the eve of one of those big birthdays. It starts with a 5.
It's how they end that makes them important.
And at 12,
it's the zeros and 5s on the end. It's not the beginning.
Yes, that's right. But at 12:01 a.m., right when we were leaving, I said, "Oh my gosh, I just turned 50." Nice. And Paul and Charmy sang "Happy Birthday." So.
It's not like saying Shakespeare in the dressing room or something. You can say your age.
And we were blessed early on too with the Stanley Kramer book poster. We're great friends with Karen Kramer, Stanley's widow. One of the first things we did was a 3-day Stanley Kramer Film Festival. Karen owns the library, so instead of going through the studios, we call up Mom, as we call her, and say, "Hey, Mom, we want a show.
Guess who's coming to dinner?"
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Mad Men. We only did a couple times.
She blows people away because she'd already married Stanley, and she was actually expecting the behind-the-scenes stories about the first major studio interracial marriage movie and how Columbia tried to shut it down. And so the people that have been here, it's jaw-dropping because
she sat there and
when you
told
hear all of the
story
details. So
about everything.
It takes me a while to knock on the coconut shell. It's like, is that educational? Oh yeah, it's kind of educational. But
they invited us to the first Stanley Kramer Film Festival that we attended, to Long Beach's version of the Stanley Kramer Film Festival. But when they invited us, we saw Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
You may be in for the biggest shock of your young life.
After 23 years living in the same house with them, don't you think I know my own mother and father?
For the first time.
And then what was the other one they showed? The Marlon Brando one?
1947.
The Wild one?
Hey, Johnny. Yo! Hey, what are we gonna do? Sit around and scratch ourselves? Yeah, we gonna wait for crazy? Or are we gonna get out of this dump? We're gonna wait for crazy.
We're fiscally sponsored by Fractured Atlas out of New York City. We're on our way to becoming a California arts nonprofit. And in applying for that, we realized along the way that we're really education-based. Now that we have a clear mission and a focus, everything driving forward, including what Paul's been curating. Yeah, it's entertainment-based, but it's really education-based. And we have an initiative. We met with the Vice Mayor of Long Beach last fall about creating programming tying into Long Beach Unified School District for high school students, training, but we figure everything we do, like the one you're attending, is about education. And so we're excited about that because it's exciting for us because we love film history, Academy Award history. Paul's really great at music history. I think our passion for that is really seeping forward in everything that we plan.
Well, cool. This is great. I can't wait for people to find out about this and come on down and check you guys out.
Thank you.
We're glad that you were able to spend as much time as you were. So thank you.
Coming tonight for the Tomorrowland.
Right. That's funny. Or maybe I came yesterday for Tomorrowland.
That's true.
That's right.
You, the visitor, are part of this continuing research program.
The Filmmakers Gallery, an interesting little piece of Long Beach culture. Many thanks to Paul Belsito and Steven Roche for their hospitality. Kevin Butler co-produced this interview. For KLBP, Low Power FM, the Long Beach Radio Project, I'm Alan Holden.